Where is my gracious Lord of Canterbury?
Not here in presence.
Send for him, good uncle. Shall we call in the ambassador, Manish? Not yet, my cousin. We would be resolved before we hear him of some things of weight that task our thoughts concerning us and France. God and his angels guard your sacred throne and make you long become it. Sure, we thank you. My learned lord, we pray you to proceed and justly and religiously unfold why the law Salic that they have in France or should not bar us in our claim. And God forbid, my dear and faithful lord, that you should fashion, rest, or bow your reading, or nicely charge your understanding soul with opening titles miscreate, whose right suits not in native colour with the truth. For God doth know how many now in health shall drop their blood in approbation of what your reverence shall incite us to. Therefore take heed how you impugn our person, how you awake our sleeping sword of war. We charge you in the name of God, take heed.
Then hear me, gracious sovereign, and you peers that owe yourselves your lives and services to this imperial throne. There is no bar to make against your highness' claim, save this which they produce from Pharamond. In terram salicam mulieres ne succedant. No woman shall succeed in Salic land, which Salic land the French unjustly gloze to be the realm of France, and Pharamond, the founder of this law, and female bar. Yet their own authors faithfully affirm that the Salic land is in Germany, between the floods of Saale and of Elbe. Then doth it well appear the Salic law was not devised for the realm of France, nor did the French possess the Salic land till 420 years after defunction of King Pharamond, idly supposed the founder of this law. Hugh Capet also, who usurped the crown of Charles the Duke of Lorraine, sole heir male of the true line and stock of Charles the Great, to fine his title with some shows of truth, though in pure truth it was corrupt and naught, conveyed himself as heir to the Lady Lingard, daughter to Charlemagne, who was the son to Louis the Emperor, and Louis the son of Charles the Great, also King Louis the Ninth, who was sole heir to by the which marriage the line of Charles the Great was reunited to the crown of France. So that as clear as is the summer's sun, King Pepin's title, and Hugh Capet's claim, King Louis his satisfaction, all do appear to hold in right and title of the female. So do the kings of France unto this day, howbeit they would hold up this Salic law, then amply to embed their crooked titles, usurped from you and your progenitors.
May I, with right and conscience, make this claim?
The sin upon my head, dread sovereign. For in the book of Numbers it is writ, when the man dies, let the inheritance descend unto the daughter. Gracious Lord, stand for your own. Unwind your bloody flag. Look back into your mighty ancestors. Go, my dread lord, to your grandsire's tomb, and invoke his warlike spirit. And from your great uncle Edward, the Black Prince, who on the French ground played a tragedy.
Your brother kings and monarchs of the earth do all expect that you should rouse yourself, as did the former lions of your blood.
They know your grace hath cause and means and might, so doth your highness. Never king of England had nobles richer and more loyal subjects, whose hearts have left their bodies here in England and lie pavilioned in the fields of France.
Oh, let their bodies follow, my dear liege, with blood and sword and fire to win your right. In aid whereof we of the spirituality will raise your highness such a mighty sum as never did the clergy at one time bring into any of your ancestors. We must not only arm to invade the French, but lay down our proportions to defend against the Scot, who will make road upon us with all advantages. Day of those marches, gracious sovereign, shall be a wall sufficient to guard our inland from the pilfering borderers.
We do not mean the coursing snatchers only, but fear the main enchantment of the Scot, who hath been still a giddy neighbour to us.
For you shall read that my great-grandfather never went with his forces into France, but that the Scot on his unfurnished kingdom came pouring like a tide into a breach, with ample and brim fullness of his force, galling the gleaned land with hot assays, girding with grievous siege castles and towns, that England, being empty of defence, hath shook and trembled at the ill neighbourhood.
She hath then been more feared than harmed, my liege. But there's a saying very old and true. If that you will France win, then will Scotland first begin. For once the eagle England being in prey, to her unguarded nest the weasel Scot comes sneaking, and so sucks her princely eggs, playing the mouse in the absence of the cat, to tame and havoc more than she can eat. It follows then the cat must stay at home, but that is but a crushed necessity, since we have locks to safeguard necessaries and pretty traps to catch the petty thieves. True. So may 1,000 actions, once afoot, end in one purpose, and be all well borne without defeat. Therefore, to France, my liege.
Call in the messengers sent from the Dauphin. Now are we well resolved, and by God's help and yours, the noble sinews of our power, France being ours, will bend it to our oar, or break it all to pieces. Either our history shall with full mouth speak freely of our acts, or else our grave shall have a tongueless mouth, not worshipped with a waxen epitaph. Now are we well prepared to hear the pleasure of our fair cousin Dauphin, for we hear your greeting is from him, not from the king.
May it please your majesty to give us leave freely to render what we have in charge, or shall we sparingly show you far off the Dauphin's meaning and our embassy?
We are no tyrant, but a Christian king, unto whose grace our passion is as subject as our wretches fettered in our prisons. Therefore, with frank and uncurbed plainness, tell us the Dauphin's mind.
Thus then, in view, your highness, lately sending into France, did claim some certain dukedoms in the right of your great predecessor, Edward III. In answer of which claim, the prince, our master, says that you savour too much of your youth, and bids you be advised. There's naught in France that can be with a nimble galliard won. You cannot revel in the dukedoms there. And so he sends you meter for your spirit, this ton of treasure. And in lieu of this, bid you let the dukedoms that you claim hear no more of you. This the Dauphin speaks.
What treasure, uncle?
Tennis balls, my liege.
We are glad the Dauphin is so pleasant with us. His present and your pains we thank you for.
Would we have matched our rackets to these balls, we will in France, by God's grace, play a set shall strike his father's crown into the hazard.
Tell him he hath made a match with such a wrangler that all the courts of France shall be disturbed with chases. And we understand him well, how he comes o'er us with our wilder days, not measuring what use we made of them. But tell the Dauphin I will keep my state, be like a king, and show my sail of greatness when I do rouse me in my throne of France, and there I shall rise with so full a glory that shall dazzle all the eyes of France, yea, strike the Dauphin blind to look on us. And tell the pleasant prince, this mock of his hath turned his balls to gunstones, and his soul shall stand sore charged with the wasteful vengeance that shall fly with them. For many 1,000 widows shall this his mock out of their dear husbands, mock mothers from their sons, mock castles down, and some are yet ungotten and unborn that shall have cause to curse the Dauphin's scorn. But all this lies within the will of God, to whom I do appeal, and in whose name tell you the Dauphin I am coming on, to venge me as I may, and to put forth my rightful hand in a well-hallowed cause. So get you hence in peace, and tell the Dauphin his jest will savour but of shallow wit, when thousands weep more than did laugh at it. Convey them with safe conduct. Fare you well.
This was a merry message.
We hope to make the sender blush at it. Therefore, my lords, omit no happy hour that may lend furtherance to this expedition. For we now have no thought in us but France, save those to God that run before our business. Therefore let our proportions for these wars be soon collected, and all things thought upon that may with reasonable swiftness add more feathers to our wings. For God before will chide this Dauphin at his father's door. Therefore let every man now task his thought, that this fair action may on foot be brought,